episode, we're gonna check out Century 21, a place that, old school New Yorkers truly know about. So for today's episode, we're gonna check out Century 21. I used to go there a lot as a kid. Always a treat because as I got older, I still went, and it would be like Stone Island and like Polo Ralph Lauren. And I just want to see what they have now because I don't know if you guys know, they actually had to shut down a few years ago and they most recently came back up. So we're gonna see what they have. We're gonna see if they still have Stone, they still have Polo Ralph Lauren, and maybe a few other brands. But I do know that they have vintage bags, which is another one of my passions. Today I'm wearing all Chanel. I have a vintage Chanel bag, Chanel sneakers, and new Chanel sunglasses. And we're just gonna see if they have anything that I'd like.
Okay, so a little bit about Century 21. The department store was founded in 1961. While they closed this location in 2020, they reopened it again in 2023, but they no longer occupy the whole space as they did before. This is currently the only location that is open. I would love to hear your stories about your times at Century 21 as you grew up and as an adult now. I will show you what they currently have in store, and honestly, I wasn't surprised. They haven't changed much despite the size. They still have designer brands for low prices. While the bags were a bit pricey, there were definitely some steals in the men's and women's clothing sections. All right, now let's get into it. The highlights of the first floor include accessories, bags, sunglasses, and fragrances. As you can see, they have some really contemporary brands you'd find on websites like Essence. But of course, as I've mentioned, this is why I'm here. So heavy on the Goyard, Dior, Gucci, Hermes, of course. To be 100 though, I didn't love these prices. They were definitely inflated. While I did enjoy the variety of vintage bags that they did have, including this one, this little cutie over here. This was about $1,800, I believe. Loved the Chanel. I didn't love the prices. Though, one of the tips that I often tell people who come to me when they want me to help source items for them or just for them to search on their own, I recommend them going in store to department stores like this that have a curated selection of luxury bags and accessories, just because it helps to feel the fabric, especially if you're a first-time buyer of a vintage piece. It always helps to get that assurance that you're making the right decision, and also you want to see how it looks against your body. So I love going to department stores for this very reason. I will say though, if you aren't concerned about price and you do need something last minute to go to an event or the club or a date, this is a good spot because you can just easily walk out with a Murakami Louis Vuitton for not that much. Not as much as a lot of the other stores are selling them for. And here are some other options. Gucci. These are great work bags or lunch bags if you want to be a little bit more chic. And these last two, this Epi leather Louis Vuitton and this Gucci Boston bag, pure goodness. I didn't stay on the first floor. I ended up moving along to the second floor, which is the women's apparel section. They had some great hunter pieces for very low prices. I also like that they have Levi's. I wish they had more options, but these were actually really good pair and they reminded me of a vintage wash. And I also really like these Polo Ralph Lauren women's jeans. And there was actually a lot of Stella McCartney Adidas gear in the clearance section, which I thought was interesting. And I really like this top. And I was gonna get it, but it was an extra large. This one too was an extra large, but very cool. Again, this is a clear view of the clearance section. A lot of Stella. And these Moschino jackets. I had to try them on. I love this pink one. Baller. I think because I went the day after Christmas, the women's section was picked over, so I didn't see a ton. But I did have high hopes to the men's section, and it definitely didn't disappoint. Right off the bat, classic Dickies jackets, workwear, yes. You know, classic and timeless, can't go wrong. This diesel leather jacket was insane. It was $803. And these leather pants were also a stunner. The Barbour section was pretty decent. They had some jackets. But as I was digging in, I found the Noah Barbour collab. Oh, this jacket is insane. The color was something that I've never seen before. And it was great because it gave me springtime vibes, but it was actually very thick. So I think you could wear it in both spring and winter. Overall, great Barbour pieces. I finally found the clearance section and I was super impressed. Martine Rose is one of my favorite brands. Great price for that piece. They also had a lot of Celine, Dries Van Noten, Alawalia, JW Anderson, of course. As I mentioned, a lot of these brands you would find in a website like Essence or Brown Fashion, but they're actually here in this department store for really super low prices. And this is again a full clear view of the men's clearance section. Another Martine Rose jacket. This price was wild. Unheard of. And also just overall brands that you just won't see in department stores. And this brand, I haven't heard of it before, but I did like the texture of the jacket. I thought it was very unique and gave me vintage vibes. And this Moschino top was epitome vintage. And I needed it, but I didn't need it. More Noah. This was actually a Needles vest. And I was so shocked to find Needles here. The men's section definitely came correct, but the shoe section did not. Honestly, I feel like there probably are some gems in here hidden. I just at this point didn't have the patience to look through everything. So don't sleep on the fragrances and lotions and everything. They have some great brands. But overall, I enjoyed the men's section the most. The bags were a little bit overpriced for my liking, but I did enjoy myself. And after, I got some fogo de chao and celebrated a great day.